Changing your life begins with changing your mind. The way you think, the thoughts you focus on, and the decisions you make each day directly shape the life you experience. Strengthening your mind is not a matter of chance. It's a deliberate process. In this video, we'll explore how to rebuild your mindset and take control of your thoughts, replacing weakness with strength and distraction with purpose. These are the steps that will lead you to a clearer, stronger, and more focused version of yourself. You'll discover practical strategies to eliminate limiting beliefs and build habits that actually move you toward your goals. This isn't about quick fixes or empty promises. It's about taking real action and seeing real results. Stick with me, and together we'll train your mind to work for you, not against you. It's time to rebuild and create the life you want. Let's get to work. Number 1, face your truth daily and stop running away. You will never rebuild your life until you're willing to face your truth. And I mean the real truth. Not the version you tell your friends, not the version you share online, not the one you hide behind when things get tough. I'm talking about the truth that keeps you up at night. The truth you've been avoiding. The truth that whispers in the back of your mind when no one else is around. You know what it is, and if you're going to train your mind for a new life, that's where it starts, with honesty, with courage, with responsibility. Not just once, not when it's convenient, but every single day. You don't need more motivation. You don't need another video. You don't need someone to give you permission. What you need is the discipline to stop lying to yourself. You say you want change, but change doesn't come with comfort. It doesn't show up when you're hiding from the very things that are breaking you. Change comes when you face your flaws, your weaknesses, your poor choices, and you say, enough. That's the turning point. That's the moment you stop escaping and start rebuilding. A lot of people run away from themselves. They stay busy. They scroll through distractions. They surround themselves with noise so they don't have to hear their own mind. But the truth is, you can't rebuild anything if you won't admit what's broken. And if you're too afraid to look at what's real, you'll spend your whole life pretending you're fine while quietly falling apart inside. So what does it mean to face your truth daily? It means looking at how you spend your time and being honest about whether it matches your values. It means looking at the way you treat people and asking yourself if that's the person you're proud to be. It means owning your past, not to stay stuck in it, but to learn from it, so it doesn't control your future. People think mental strength is about being tough all the time. It's not. It's about being clear. It's about being grounded. It's about saying, here's where I messed up, here's what I've avoided, and here's what I'm ready to face now. That kind of clarity is powerful. It creates momentum. It creates confidence. Not because everything is perfect, but because you're not hiding anymore. Rebuilding your mind is not a one-time event. It's a daily decision, and that decision is uncomfortable. It's supposed to be. Growth doesn't feel good at first. Facing your truth means you will have to feel things you don't want to feel. Shame, regret, guilt, anger, disappointment. But those feelings are not the enemy. They are signals. They're pointing to what needs your attention, what needs healing, what needs to change. You can't numb them forever and expect to grow. Every morning you wake up, you have two choices. You can lie to yourself and keep repeating the same patterns. Or you can stand up and say, I'm done hiding. I want something better. I want to build something real. That's a powerful place to be in, not because it's easy, but because it's honest. And when you build from honesty, you build with strength. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to have it all figured out, but you do need to stop running. You need to stop telling yourself that you'll get to it tomorrow. Tomorrow is a trap. It's how you stay stuck. If your life is falling apart, if your thoughts are controlling you, if your emotions are unpredictable, you cannot afford to wait another day. You take control by taking action. Now, not later, not when it's convenient. Right now, look at your habits. What are you doing every day that is making you weaker? What are you thinking about that is keeping you small? What emotions are you avoiding because you don't want to deal with reality? If you don't ask yourself these questions, no one else will. And the longer you avoid them, the more disconnected you become from who you really are. Some people spend years running from the same truth. They blame others. They point fingers. They make excuses. But none of that changes their situation. You cannot blame your way into a better life. You cannot complain your way into a stronger mind. At some point, you have to look in the mirror and take responsibility for everything you've allowed, everything you've tolerated, and everything you've refused to confront. That's when change begins. That's when your mind starts to get stronger. Training your mind is not about being positive all the time. It's about being disciplined enough to face the facts, even when they hurt, even when they make you uncomfortable, even when they reveal parts of you that you'd rather keep hidden. Because it's only when you shine a light on those places that you can actually clean them up. You can't change what you refuse to face. You can't grow if you keep lying to yourself. Ask yourself every night before you sleep, was I honest with myself today? Not with the world, not with your boss, not with your friends, with yourself. Because if you weren't, then you're building your life on false ground. And anything you build on dishonesty will eventually fall apart. Real strength comes from clarity, from facing yourself, from holding yourself accountable. You know what's really exhausting? Living a life that isn't true, faking it, smiling when you're hurting, saying I'm fine when you're falling apart inside. That drains you, that steals your energy, that takes away your power. But when you face your truth, yes, it's painful, but it also frees you. It gives you energy. It gives you peace. It gives you control back. So if you want to rebuild yourself mentally, start by doing the hardest thing first. Sit in silence. No distractions. No background noise. Just you and your thoughts. Listen to what's really going on inside. Don't judge it. Don't explain it away. Just be honest about it. This is where the work begins. And it's not glamorous. It's not exciting, but it's necessary. And it works. Facing your truth also means cutting out the lies you've been feeding yourself. I'll start next week. I don't have time. I'm too tired, I can't change. All lies, you have time. You just waste it. You can change, you just haven't committed yet. You are tired, but mostly from avoiding the work that actually matters. The truth will always be hard before it becomes freeing. That's the process. And if people around you can't handle your truth, that's fine. They don't need to. This isn't about them. This is about you becoming who you were meant to be, not who they expect you to be. Your job is to clean up your mind so you can live a clean life. A life that reflects what you actually believe, not one that's built on pretending and pleasing. You want to live a better life? Then raise your standards for honesty. Stop lowering the bar for yourself because it feels easier. Stop waiting for perfect timing. Stop hoping someone else will come along and do the work for you. Nobody's coming to fix your mind. That's your job. That's your responsibility. And you are more than capable of doing it. If you stop running and start facing the truth, the world will give you every excuse to stay the same. But you don't need excuses. You need progress. You need results. You need peace. And that only comes when you face what's real and start cleaning it up one piece at a time. So make a choice today to be real, to be direct, to be bold enough to face your truth, not just once, but every single day. Because that's how you rebuild. That's how you grow. That's how you train your mind to live the kind of life you can actually be proud of. One step, one decision, one truth at a time. Number 2, eliminate weak thoughts and choose strength every morning. The thoughts you start your day with are shaping your entire life. Every morning when you open your eyes, your mind starts speaking to you. It gives you opinions. It gives you reminders. It gives you doubts. That voice in your head will either help you or destroy you depending on how you train it. Weak thoughts don't just appear out of nowhere. They grow from neglect. They take root in people who don't stand guard at the door of their own mind. If you don't learn to remove those thoughts as soon as they show up, they'll begin to lead your decisions, and your decisions will lead your life in the wrong direction. Most people wake up and allow their mind to go wherever it wants. That's a mistake, a serious one. If you don't give your mind a command, it will follow comfort. It will choose fear. It will replay regret. It will magnify problems, and it won't stop unless you stop it. Mental strength is not something you hope to have. It's something you create by what you allow and what you reject. So each morning you need to choose. You can either surrender to the weak thoughts that want to keep you average, or you can rise and choose strength, even when you don't feel like it. A weak thought sounds like, I can't handle this. It's too hard. Why me? What's the point? Nobody cares. It always goes wrong. I'll never change. These thoughts are familiar, but they are not harmless. They shape your emotions. They affect how you speak. They keep you passive. And once they become a pattern, you won't even notice how small they've made your life. Weak thoughts can be soft or loud. They can sound polite or aggressive. But in every case, they rob you of your energy, your time, and your confidence. And if you don't eliminate them, they'll convince you to live far below your potential. You don't have time to entertain weakness, not if you want a new life. Every time you allow a weak thought to sit in your mind, you are feeding the wrong part of you. You are letting the part of you that wants to quit grow stronger. You are giving room to doubt and hesitation. And every time you do that, you make the next moment harder. But if you catch it early, if you say to yourself, that thought has no place in my life, then you take back control. The earlier you remove weakness, the faster your strength grows. Choosing strength every morning is not about pretending to be tough. It's about building the habit of self-respect. When you choose strength, you are saying, I will lead my mind. I will not be led by fear. I will not give my power away to old beliefs that have never served me. It's a decision, and that decision needs to be made every day. Not once a week, not only on days when you feel motivated. Every single morning, no matter how you slept, no matter what's happening around you, you choose strength. Strength doesn't shout. It doesn't need attention. It's quiet. It's consistent. It's honest. When you choose strength, you take full responsibility for how you think. You stop blaming circumstances. You stop waiting for others to make you feel better. You rise with discipline. You speak with clarity. You act with purpose. This is not based on how you feel. It's based on what you want your life to become. If you want to grow, if you want to lead yourself well, you can't afford to make room for mental weakness. That's not harsh. It's truth. Weak thoughts show up because they've been invited for too long. They live in the minds of people who have forgotten how powerful they really are. The good news is, you can break the cycle. You can catch the weakness early and replace it with something stronger. That replacement might be a clear goal, a powerful belief, or a reminder of your standards. Whatever it is, make sure it lifts you. Make sure it demands more from you. Don't feed your mind thoughts that keep you soft. Feed it thoughts that wake you up and sharpen your edge. The first few minutes of your day matter more than you realize. That's when your mind is the most unguarded. That's when the tone is being set. If you reach for your phone, scroll through meaningless content, and let your brain wander into comparison or anxiety, don't be surprised when the rest of your day feels scattered. That's not discipline. That's drifting. And drifting is the enemy of growth. Instead, the moment you wake up, sit still and speak strength into yourself. Remind yourself what you're building. Remind yourself what you're capable of. Decide how you will think today and follow through. Eliminating weak thoughts isn't about perfection. You're human. Some doubts will appear. Some fears will knock on the door. That's okay. The goal isn't to be emotionless. The goal is to respond with strength. When a weak thought shows up, don't entertain it. Don't explain it away. Don't negotiate with it. Replace it. Replace it with a clear decision. Replace it with action. Replace it with a thought that says, I can do hard things. I don't quit on myself. I get better every single day. Your mind needs repetition to grow stronger. The more often you eliminate weakness and choose strength, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, it's not even a debate. Eventually, you don't even consider giving up. Your standards are too high. Your habits are too solid. Your goals are too important. That kind of strength comes from discipline. It comes from showing up for yourself, especially when no one is watching. That's when your real power is built. Not when it's easy, but when you decide to act like the person you're becoming, not the person you've been. Some people think strong thoughts just appear if you hope hard enough. That's not how it works. You train your mind the same way you train your body, with structure, with consistency, and with intention. Weakness will always be more convenient. It will always feel easier in the moment, but that ease is temporary. The regret that follows is what stays. Strength might feel hard in the moment, but it leads to pride. It leads to growth. It leads to results you can stand behind. You are not the same person you were last year, last month, or even yesterday. Every day is a chance to choose differently, to think better, to eliminate what no longer serves you. You do not have to be held hostage by your past thoughts, but you do have to take ownership of what you allow into your mind today. You cannot build a new life with the same weak thoughts that ruined the last one. Change your thoughts, and you will change your outcomes. This is not just about motivation. This is not about temporary inspiration. This is about leadership, self-leadership, self-leadership. If you want to build a strong mind, you have to lead yourself well. That means not giving weakness permission to live in your head. That means noticing when you're slipping and pulling yourself back into focus. That means not lowering your standards because things feel hard. Strength is about raising your standards and holding yourself to them, even when it's uncomfortable. Start your mornings like someone who knows what they want. Wake up with purpose. Sit still for 5 minutes and check in with your thoughts. If weakness shows up, confront it. Replace it. Don't start your day hoping it gets better. Start your day by deciding to be better. That mindset alone can shift everything. It makes you proactive. It makes you alert. It makes you sharp. Every great life is built on mental strength. Not the kind that looks good in public. The kind that is earned in private. The kind that is built when no one sees the work. The kind that comes from choosing better thoughts when it would be easier to sink back into the old ones. Strength is a habit. Weakness is also a habit. Which one are you choosing more often? Be honest about that. And if the answer isn't what you want it to be, then today is the day to change it. Don't let weak thoughts be the reason you stay stuck. You are more powerful than you've allowed yourself to be. But that power doesn't activate until you start thinking like someone who's ready to change their life. Eliminate the thoughts that hold you down and replace them with thoughts that push you forward. That's how you train your mind. That's how you rebuild yourself. That's how you win. Number 3, build a new identity by controlling your decisions. The most powerful way to change your life is to change who you believe you are. But identity isn't just something you are born with. It's something you build. And the way you build it is by controlling your decisions. Every choice you make speaks louder than anything you say about yourself. Your identity isn't shaped by what you hope to become someday. It's shaped by what you choose every single day. You don't need permission to become someone new. You need to make different decisions. That's how transformation really works. Most people are stuck because they keep making decisions that match who they used to be. They don't stop to question the pattern. They don't pause to ask, is this helping the future I want to live? Instead, they keep repeating what's familiar. They eat the same foods, speak the same way, handle stress the same way, avoid the same discomforts. And then they wonder why their life feels like it never changes. Your past can only control your future if you let it. The moment you take control of your decisions, your identity starts to shift. You are not the same person you were 5 years ago. So why keep making the same choices you made back then? Why stay in routines that were built by a weaker version of you? Why stay loyal to beliefs that only hold you back? If you want a new identity, you have to lead your mind. You have to lead your behavior. Nobody is going to walk into your life and rewrite your story for you. This part of the process is yours. It's not easy, but it's honest. And that honesty is what gives you power. Every time you make a decision that goes against your old self, you get stronger. Maybe it's waking up earlier. Maybe it's saying no to a distraction. Maybe it's starting the workout when you don't feel like it. These small decisions matter more than people realize. They are the building blocks of your identity. You don't need a dramatic moment to change. You need consistent actions. You need to prove to yourself that you can lead your life forward without being dragged by the old one. If you've ever said, "This is just who I am," ask yourself if that statement is helping you grow or keeping you small. Because identity statements become traps when you use them to justify weakness. If who you think you are is keeping you from who you want to become, then it's time to make a shift. But that shift doesn't happen through talk. It happens through commitment, through discipline, through deciding again and again to act like the person you're becoming, not the person you've been. Every decision you make has a voice, and that voice is either building you up or tearing you down. When you decide to stay silent when you know you should speak, that's a decision. When you decide to skip the work because it's uncomfortable, that's a decision. When you decide to lower your standards because other people are watching, that's a decision. And every one of those decisions is shaping how you see yourself. That's why taking control of your decisions is the fastest way to take control of your identity. The truth is, you already know what kind of life you want to live. You've imagined it. You've dreamed about it. You've told yourself you'd get there. But if you keep making decisions that contradict that vision, it will never become real. Identity is not imagination. It's not talk. It's action. If you say you value discipline but your choices reflect laziness, then the identity you're building is weak. If you say you want success but your daily decisions are rooted in fear and hesitation, then you're not building success. You're building avoidance. Don't confuse your current habits with your future self. Just because you've been a certain way doesn't mean you have to stay that way. The people who truly rebuild themselves mentally are the ones who become conscious of their decisions. They don't make choices based on emotion. They don't make decisions based on what feels easy. They pause. They think. They ask, will this help me become stronger? If the answer is no, they change direction. That level of honesty is rare, but it's also what separates people who stay stuck from people who rise. You don't need to do everything perfectly. You just need to take responsibility. You need to notice your choices in real time, and you need to stop making excuses for the decisions that keep you from growing. When you choose something that goes against your standards, call it out. Don't brush it off. Don't say, it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. Because every decision you make is teaching your brain who you are. And if you keep teaching it that you're someone who gives up, someone who hides, someone who settles, then you will keep living that story until you change the script. A new identity starts with awareness. What are you doing when nobody's watching? What are you choosing when it's just you and your mind? What are you accepting when you know you should do better? These are the moments that matter. These are the moments that reveal your character, and these are the moments that allow you to take control. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop looking for permission. Stop hoping someone else will fix your mindset. Own your decisions. Every single one. People say they want a better life, but many don't want to make better decisions. They want new results without giving up the habits that created the old ones. That's not how change works. You don't get to keep your comfort and your growth at the same time. One has to go, and the only way to choose growth consistently is by controlling your decisions. Not once in a while. Not only on good days, every single day. That's what builds a new identity. That's what makes your mind strong. That's what separates you from the person you used to be. Most of your stress comes from decisions you avoid. Most of your pain comes from decisions you delay. And most of your regret comes from decisions you made while being led by fear. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be awake. Awake to your standards. Awake to your direction. Awake to the fact that every time you choose strength, you silence the part of you that wants to stay weak. This is how transformation works. Not through fantasy. Not through hoping things will change, but through action, through discipline, through leadership. The people who rebuild themselves don't wait until life forces them to. They act before it's urgent. They decide who they want to be, and they prove it with consistent choices. You can start small, but you must start. Waiting won't build you. Talking won't change you. Only action has the power to rewrite your identity. Decide today that your old ways are done. Decide today that your decisions are going to reflect your standards. Decide today that your life will no longer be shaped by your past, but by the choices you make starting right now. And once you decide, follow through. No more negotiation. No more debate. Act with certainty. Speak with confidence. Stand behind every decision like it matters, because it does. You're not just building habits, you're building a new version of yourself, one decision at a time. That's how you rebuild your mind. That's how you take your power back. And that's how you become the person you know deep down you were always meant to be. Number 4. Train your mind to reject excuses every single time. Excuses are the enemy of progress. They sound reasonable. They sound safe. They sound like they're protecting you. But the truth is, they are slowing you down. They're keeping you stuck. Every time you make an excuse, you delay the strength you could build if you just face the moment with full responsibility. When I think back to the most important turning points in my life, they all began the day I stopped making excuses. I looked at where I was. I looked at where I wanted to be. And I asked myself, what am I doing that's keeping me from getting there? If you want to change your life, you have to train your mind to catch excuses the moment they show up. You have to look them in the eye and say, not this time, because they will come. They'll show up when you're tired. They'll show up when you're afraid. They'll show up when the old version of you wants to take back control. Excuses will try to convince you that you're not ready, that it's not the right time, that you're too busy, too stressed, too far behind. But the truth is, you're just afraid to face the work. And that fear will keep running your life unless you fight back. One of the most powerful decisions I ever made was to stop justifying weakness. I stopped saying, I'm just not that type of person. I stopped saying, it's too hard for me. I stopped saying, I'll start when I feel more prepared. I stopped giving myself a way out, and I started giving myself a reason to follow through. That shift changed everything, because excuses aren't just words, they're decisions. They decide whether you'll keep living the life you have or step into the life you want. Your mind is built to protect you, not to grow you. That means if you're not careful, it will always choose comfort. It will always choose the easy way out. It will always vote for the safe path. So if you want to build a life of meaning, you have to override that system. You have to wake up and take control. You have to say no to the weak voice, and that takes training. You don't build a strong mind by chance. You build it through discipline, through repetition, through catching yourself in real time and choosing power instead of passivity. Every excuse has a payoff. Maybe it gives you relief. Maybe it protects your ego. Maybe it helps you avoid judgment. But the price is always your growth. The price is always your progress. And if you keep paying that price, year after year, you'll look back with regret instead of pride. That's why rejecting excuses is not about toughness. It's about self-respect. It's about proving to yourself that your life matters enough to fight for it, that your goals are worth discomfort, that your time is too precious to be wasted on lies. The mind will tell you stories that feel true. It will say you can't do this. It will say you've tried before and failed. It will say you're not like other people. But those stories only become real if you agree with them. Every time you say maybe later, you teach your mind to accept delay. Every time you say, it's not my fault, you train your brain to avoid responsibility. And every time you say, I can't help it, you give up your power. That's why you have to be alert. You have to be intentional. You have to catch yourself before the excuse takes over. One of the strongest mental habits you can build is learning to pause when you feel resistance. Just pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, is this a real reason or just a convenient excuse? You'll be amazed how often you find yourself caught in your own trap. But the moment you see it, you can break it. You don't have to follow the pattern. You can interrupt it. You can choose a higher standard. And that one moment can shift your entire day. Most people don't realize how much power they have because they've spent years giving it away. They've accepted blame. They've settled for less. They've convinced themselves that certain things are just how they are. But nothing is just how it is. You're not a tree. You can move. You can change. You can evolve. You can rewrite every story you've ever believed about yourself. But it starts by rejecting the excuse that says you can't. Excuses are easy to make and hard to notice when you've been making them for years. That's why you need awareness. You need to start listening to yourself. The way you talk, the things you say when pressure shows up, the words you use when you're tired, because all of that is revealing your mindset. And if you don't like what you hear, you can change it. You're not stuck, you're just in a habit. And habits can be replaced. Start small. Start by noticing your language. Instead of saying, I'll try, say, I will. Instead of saying, I'm too tired, say, I can push a little more. Instead of saying, I don't have time, say, I'll make time. These changes are subtle, but powerful. They rewire the way you think. They create a new standard. And over time, that new standard becomes your new identity. Not someone who runs, not someone who hides, but someone who shows up, no matter what. The strongest people I've met aren't the ones with perfect conditions. They're the ones who learned how to act without waiting for ideal situations. They've trained their mind to say, do it anyway, whether they feel ready or not, whether it's convenient or not, whether it's comfortable or not. They don't negotiate with weakness. They don't explain failure. They reject the excuse and take the action. And because of that, they build momentum. They build confidence. They build lives that inspire others. You don't need to do it all at once. You don't need to become a machine, but you do need to take control of your inner voice. That voice is either working for you or against you. And if it's working against you, then you need to change the conversation. Speak truth to yourself. Speak power. Speak purpose. Say what you mean. Follow through. Don't back down because the voice says it's too much. It's only too much when you let the excuse win. I want you to remember this. Every excuse is a thief. It steals your time. It steals your strength. It steals your future. But only if you let it. You are stronger than your patterns. You are greater than your fear. And you are more capable than your excuses want you to believe. So train your mind daily, not just when you feel motivated. Train it like your life depends on it, because it does. Every time you say no to the excuse, you build self-respect. Every time you show up when it's hard, you build mental muscle. Every time you finish something you wanted to quit, you build trust with yourself. And that trust becomes the foundation for everything else. When you know that you won't betray your own word, you become powerful, because then you can move with conviction. You can lead with certainty. You can pursue a life that demands more from you and rewards you for it. So the next time the excuse shows up, meet it with truth. Meet it with discipline. Meet it with the version of you that refuses to waste another year. You don't need to prove anything to anyone, but you do need to prove it to yourself. You need to know that you can be counted on, that you won't break your promise, that your goals matter enough to fight through every weak thought trying to hold you back. This is how transformation happens. Not all at once, but daily, with repetition, with conscious choices, with strong decisions. You will fall sometimes. You will mess up, but you don't quit. You don't go back to the old pattern. You get up, you reject the excuse again, and you keep moving forward, because that's who you are now. You are not your past. You are not your fears. You are not your failures. You are the person who sees what needs to be done and does it anyway. You are the person who hears the excuse and rejects it every single time. You are the one who chooses strength, even when it would be easier to choose comfort. And that choice again and again is what will rebuild your life, one decision at a time. Number 5, challenge your fears by doing one hard thing today. Fears are one of the most common obstacles we face in life. They often hold us back, preventing us from stepping into new opportunities, from taking risks, from growing into the person we know we are capable of becoming. It's a natural response to feel fear when we face something unfamiliar or uncertain. But here's the thing, fear is not a signal to stop. It's a signal that you're on the edge of growth. The most powerful way to overcome fear is to challenge it head on by doing one hard thing every day. And I don't mean a small, easy challenge that you can dismiss. I mean a challenge that makes your heart race a little, that shakes you up just enough to make you feel alive. Doing one hard thing each day doesn't have to be something grand. It doesn't have to be life-changing in one moment. It's the habit, the consistency that matters most. We are not born with courage. We develop it, and we develop it by taking action. It's like building muscle in the gym. Every time you push yourself harder than you did yesterday, you grow stronger. The same principle applies when it comes to facing your fears. The more you face them, the more you realize that you can handle them. You begin to see that they're not as big as they seem. Fear has a way of making things appear much worse than they really are. It amplifies the unknown. But once you step into the unknown, once you challenge it, you'll realize that you are capable of handling far more than you thought possible. The key is to start small, but start now. What's one thing today that scares you? What's one thing that you know will push you past your comfort zone? It could be making a difficult phone call, starting a project you've been putting off, confronting someone you've been avoiding. It could be as simple as waking up an hour earlier than usual, or taking the first step in a new direction. You see, the moment you decide to challenge your fear is the moment you regain control. Fear thrives on hesitation. It gets stronger the longer you wait. But when you act, you break that cycle. You create momentum, and that momentum will carry you forward, allowing you to face even bigger challenges in the future. The more you do this, the more you realize that fear is not an insurmountable wall. It's a stepping stone. And every time you push past it, you grow. I want you to think about something for a second. Think about the times when you faced something difficult in the past. The times when you were afraid, when you doubted yourself, but you pushed through anyway. What happened? Did you survive? Did you learn something new? Did you grow stronger? The answer is almost always yes. Fear, when confronted and conquered, becomes your teacher. It teaches you resilience. It teaches you strength. And most importantly, it teaches you that you can rely on yourself. The thing about fear is that it doesn't go away just because you ignore it. It doesn't disappear because you pretend it's not there. It waits for the perfect moment to creep back in. But when you face it today, when you confront it head on, you take away its power. Fear cannot exist without your agreement. It thrives only when you allow it to control your actions. And every time you challenge it, you weaken it. You don't have to take giant leaps every day. Small challenges add up. It's not about taking one massive step and solving everything in one go. It's about the commitment to take that first step, then the next one, and the next. It's the repeated act of showing up to face fear that transforms you. It's the daily commitment to do something hard that creates the results you're looking for. And before you know it, you've built a new life for yourself. Not because you waited for the right moment, but because you made the decision to act, to move forward, to face what scared you. Now here's the secret. Fear is a natural part of growth. It's not something to run from. It's not something to fight against. It's something to embrace. Because fear doesn't hold the power to stop you. Only your willingness to avoid it does. When you confront fear, you take away its power. You realize that it's not the enemy. It's the signal that you're about to do something that will change you for the better. There's no perfect moment to challenge your fears. There's no right time, no ideal condition where everything will fall into place. If you wait for everything to be perfect, you'll never start. The time is now. The only moment you can control is the one you have right now. Don't wait for the fear to disappear. Take action despite it. Take action because of it. When you step into that fear, you become the person who has the courage to act. And that's where real transformation begins. The hardest part is often the first step. Once you take it, you realize that the world doesn't crumble. You realize that you can handle it. You realize that you're stronger than you thought. And that's when you start to build trust with yourself. That's when you prove to yourself that you don't need to run from fear. You can face it, learn from it, and use it as fuel to get where you want to go. One of the things that holds people back from confronting their fears is the belief that they have to be perfect, that they have to have everything figured out before they act. But the truth is, you don't need all the answers. You don't need to know exactly how things will turn out. The real strength comes in taking action anyway. Even when the path is unclear, you learn by doing. You grow by doing. You succeed by doing. It's not about waiting for fear to vanish. It's about walking through it, one step at a time. So what's one hard thing you can do today? What's the thing you've been putting off? What's the fear you've been running from that's been holding you back from your next level? I want you to make a promise to yourself. Do it today. Face that fear head on. And when you do, you'll realize that it wasn't as difficult as you thought. You'll feel the power that comes from taking control, from choosing courage over comfort. Remember, this fear is not your enemy. It's the tool that will help you grow, the key to unlocking your potential. Every time you challenge your fear, you grow stronger. Every time you step into it, you prove to yourself that you can handle whatever comes your way. You build a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. You build the kind of person who is not afraid to take action, no matter how difficult it may seem. And that person will achieve things you never thought possible. It's time to stop waiting. It's time to start moving. One hard thing today. That's all it takes to begin the transformation. You've got this. Take that step. Number 6, speak to yourself with clarity, purpose, and full respect. How we speak to ourselves matters more than we often realize. Every word we say to ourselves, every thought we entertain, has the power to shape our reality, our mindset, and our actions. Too many people go through life speaking to themselves with negativity, doubt, and disrespect, and then wonder why they aren't able to break through barriers, reach their goals, or feel good about themselves. The truth is that if you don't speak to yourself with clarity, purpose, and full respect, you're setting yourself up for failure before you even begin. Clarity starts with understanding exactly who you are and what you want. It's about knowing your worth and not allowing any distractions to take that knowledge away from you. Too often we get caught up in the noise of other people's opinions, expectations, and judgments. We start to second-guess ourselves, to doubt our abilities, to wonder if we're doing enough. This is where the lack of clarity begins. If you don't speak to yourself with clarity, you'll always be uncertain. You'll always feel lost, uncertain of the next step, unsure of where you stand. The first step in speaking to yourself with clarity is taking a step back and reflecting on what truly matters to you. What do you value? What do you want to create in your life? What's the legacy you want to leave behind? When you can answer these questions with confidence, you'll have a clear vision of who you are and what you stand for. This clarity will then translate into your words. You'll speak to yourself with intention, with focus, because you'll know exactly what direction you want to move in. And when you know where you're going, it's much easier to avoid distractions, sidetracks, and confusion. But it doesn't just end with clarity. You also need purpose. Purpose gives your words power. Without purpose, your self-talk is nothing more than noise. Purpose gives your words meaning. It gives them direction. When you speak to yourself with purpose, every word carries weight. Every decision you make, every thought you entertain, is driven by something greater than just getting through the day. Purpose forces you to ask yourself, what is the deeper meaning behind my actions? What do I stand for? What am I striving for? Without purpose, life can feel hollow. It can feel like you're just going through the motions, checking boxes, without ever really accomplishing anything that matters. But when you speak with purpose, everything changes. You stop wasting time on things that don't align with your goals. You stop allowing yourself to get sidetracked by trivial distractions. Instead, you begin to focus on what truly matters. You begin to ask yourself every day, what's my mission? What's my purpose? How can I make today count? But the final piece of the puzzle is respect. Respect for yourself. So many people go through life disrespecting themselves in the most insidious ways. They allow negative thoughts to take root. They settle for mediocrity. They talk themselves out of greatness because they don't believe they're worthy of success. They say things like, I'm not good enough, or I'll never be able to do that, or who am I to dream big? And every time they say those things, they're disrespecting themselves. Respect means acknowledging your worth, your value, and your potential. It means understanding that you have the right to pursue your dreams, to strive for excellence, to stand tall in the face of challenges. When you speak to yourself with respect, you affirm your worth. You remind yourself that you are capable. You remind yourself that you are worthy of success, of happiness, and of fulfillment. Speaking with respect means rejecting the voices that tell you you're not enough and replacing them with the voice of confidence, strength, and self-assurance. Speaking with clarity, purpose, and respect is not something that comes naturally for everyone. It's a habit that must be cultivated over time. But when you start speaking to yourself in this way, when you begin to speak with intention and self-respect, you'll notice a profound shift in how you see yourself and how you show up in the world. You'll start to feel more confident, more focused, more aligned with your true potential. The impact of this shift is powerful. When you start speaking to yourself with clarity, purpose, and respect, you'll notice that you begin to make better decisions. You'll begin to take actions that align with your vision, rather than being swayed by the opinions or expectations of others. You'll feel more empowered to pursue your dreams, to set goals, and to take consistent, intentional steps toward them. But the transformation doesn't stop there. As you begin to speak to yourself with clarity, purpose, and respect, you'll find that the way others speak to you will begin to change as well. People will start to treat you with more respect. They'll see you as someone who knows their worth, who stands firm in their values, who refuses to settle for anything less than the best. This shift in how others perceive you will only reinforce the positive changes you're making in your own life. You'll also notice that the challenges you face no longer feel insurmountable. When you speak to yourself with clarity and purpose, you are preparing yourself mentally for success. You're giving yourself the tools to overcome obstacles, to rise above setbacks, and to stay focused on what truly matters. You'll stop seeing challenges as roadblocks, and instead you'll see them as opportunities to grow, to learn, and to prove to yourself just how strong you truly are. And here's the thing, this is not just about being positive or putting on a happy face. This is about being real with yourself, acknowledging your challenges, and then choosing to speak to yourself with the truth. The truth is that you are capable of far more than you give yourself credit for. The truth is that you can achieve the life you want if you're willing to speak to yourself with the clarity, purpose, and respect that you deserve. So every day, make the decision to speak to yourself in this way. Don't allow self-doubt or negative self-talk to dictate your actions. Don't allow fear or uncertainty to steer your ship. Speak to yourself with clarity, knowing exactly who you are and what you want. Speak with purpose, understanding that every word carries weight, and every action is driven by something greater than just the moment. And speak with respect, acknowledging your worth and potential every single day. This is how you take control of your life. This is how you build the mindset and the life you've always dreamed of. You can't wait for the world to give you permission to succeed. You must give yourself that permission. Speak to yourself with the clarity, purpose, and respect you deserve. And watch how your life begins to change. Number 7. Replace distractions with habits that actually build you. The truth is, distractions are everywhere. They're always trying to pull us away from the things that matter most. Always trying to steal our focus, our energy, and our time. And here's the reality. You can't build a meaningful life if you're constantly caught up in things that don't serve you. Whether it's mindless scrolling on your phone, binging TV shows, or even people around you who just demand your attention for the sake of noise. These distractions rob you of the most valuable resource you have, your focus. But here's the good news. You have the power to replace these distractions with habits that will actually build you. And when you do, you'll begin to see your life shift in ways you never thought possible. You'll feel more energized, more purposeful, more aligned with your true potential. The key to creating a life of growth, success, and fulfillment lies in your ability to make better choices about how you spend your time. Start by recognizing that distractions are not just external forces. They also come from within. The moment your mind wanders, the moment you let self-doubt or fear take over, you've lost focus. And when that happens, distractions will creep in. And before you know it, your time and energy are spent on things that don't move you forward. We're all guilty of it. We're all guilty of allowing our attention to be hijacked by things that, in the grand scheme of life, don't matter. So what can you do about it? How do you replace these distractions with habits that actually build you? It starts with making a conscious decision to take control of your day, to take control of your choices, and to intentionally replace the habits that aren't serving you with those that will help you grow. The first step is to identify your distractions. Take a moment and think about what steals your time, what pulls you away from your goals, what keeps you from focusing on the things that truly matter. Is it social media? Is it watching TV for hours on end? Is it procrastination? Or maybe it's people around you who take up your time without contributing anything positive to your life. When you recognize these distractions for what they are, you gain the power to make a change. Next, understand that simply eliminating distractions is not enough. If you just stop one thing, there will always be something else waiting to take its place. You need to replace these distractions with something that actually builds you, something that moves you toward your goals and your purpose. This requires intention. It requires replacing passive habits with active ones, those that are in alignment with the future you want to create. One of the most powerful habits you can introduce into your life is a morning routine. A strong morning routine sets the tone for the entire day. It's the first decision you make that determines how you'll approach everything else. Imagine starting your day with purpose, whether it's through meditation, exercise, reading, or planning your day ahead. These are the kinds of habits that not only set you up for success, but also push you forward every single day. When you start your day with intention, you create a momentum that can carry you through the entire day. And once that momentum is built, it becomes much easier to stay focused and keep distractions at bay. Another powerful habit you can develop is practicing mindfulness, being present in the moment, not constantly thinking about what's next or worrying about what's past. allows you to take control of your thoughts and actions. When you practice mindfulness, you become aware of the distractions when they occur and can choose to focus on what's important. It's like a muscle. At first, it's challenging to focus and stay present, but with practice, it becomes second nature. Mindfulness helps you build mental strength and resilience, allowing you to stay grounded in what truly matters and not be swayed by the endless stream of distractions. In addition to mindfulness, focus is a crucial habit. Focus is the ability to direct your energy and attention toward a specific task without allowing outside distractions to pull you away. It's easy to get caught up in a world that constantly demands your attention. Social media, news outlets, and even people can all pull you in different directions. But when you practice focus, you're teaching yourself to block out the noise and give your full attention to what's in front of you. When you commit to focus, you'll find that not only do you get more done, but you also get better results. You perform at a higher level, and that's how you build success. A key part of building focus is eliminating multitasking. We've all been guilty of trying to do too many things at once, thinking that it'll get us ahead. But the truth is that multitasking actually dilutes your attention and lowers the quality of your work. It's like trying to juggle too many balls at once. Eventually, something will fall. Instead, commit to one thing at a time. Whether it's tackling a project at work, writing, or simply being present with the people you care about, give it your full attention. That's how you build habits that will actually build you. Another habit that is critical for growth is self-reflection. Taking time to reflect on your progress, to evaluate where you are and where you want to go, helps you stay on track. It's so easy to get lost in the hustle of daily life, to get swept up in distractions without ever pausing to check your direction. But self-reflection is like a compass. It helps you course correct when needed. It ensures that you're staying true to your goals and helps you identify areas where you might be slipping into old, unproductive habits. When you make self-reflection a regular part of your routine, you create the space for continuous improvement. Building a new life requires consistency. Replacing distractions with habits that build you is not something that happens overnight. It's something that requires daily commitment. And yes, there will be days when you slip up, when you give in to distractions or lose your focus. That's okay. The key is to get back on track quickly. Building good habits takes time, but once they're in place, they will serve you for a lifetime. Lastly, remember that replacing distractions with habits that build you doesn't mean eliminating fun or relaxation from your life. Life is about balance. Yes, you need to work hard and stay focused, but you also need to take care of your mind and body. Making time for rest, for leisure activities, and for the things you enjoy is just as important as building good habits. The goal isn't to be busy all the time. It's to be intentional with how you use your time. The goal is to ensure that when you do take a break, it's truly refreshing, rather than just filling the void left by distractions. When you replace distractions with habits that build you, you transform not just your day, but your entire life. You become more focused, more intentional, and more aligned with your goals. You stop letting the noise and chaos around you dictate your life. Instead, you take control of your actions, your thoughts, and your future. And that's how you create lasting success. Number 8, track your thoughts and correct the weak patterns. Every single day, thoughts are shaping your life more than anything else. You move, act, hesitate, or decide based on what's playing in your head. Most people don't realize this. They move through life unaware of the constant inner dialogue, unaware of the stories their mind repeats, unaware that most of their outcomes, good or bad, are the product of unchecked thought patterns. If you want to build a stronger life, you have to build a stronger mind. And to build a stronger mind, you have to first see what it's doing. You can't fix what you don't track. You can't upgrade what you're not even observing. You have to monitor your thoughts the same way a disciplined athlete tracks their workouts, or a serious investor tracks their money, carefully, consistently, and with the goal of improvement. Weak thoughts hide in silence. They live in the background and feed off your inattention. They whisper doubts, inflate problems, magnify fears, and shrink your belief in yourself. They often sound like your own voice, so you don't question them. They convince you not to start. They persuade you to wait. They rationalize inaction. And when left unchecked, they grow roots, becoming habits of thinking that define how you see yourself and how you operate in the world. That's why you must become conscious of them. You must catch them. You must write them down. You must expose them to the light of awareness. Only then can you begin to correct them. Start with a simple commitment. Observe yourself, not just what you do, but what you think. When you catch yourself feeling tired, irritated, overwhelmed, or anxious, don't just brush it off. Stop and ask yourself, what thought preceded that feeling? What story were you telling yourself? What assumption were you making? This isn't about judgment. It's about clarity. You can't grow if you don't understand the soil your roots are in. And the soil for every human being is the mind. It's what either nourishes you or weakens you. You must begin to track your inner narrative with the same seriousness you'd apply to tracking anything else you truly care about. Write things down. Make it a habit. Don't leave it in your head. There's something powerful about seeing your thoughts on paper. It gives you perspective. It turns vague feelings into concrete sentences. And once those thoughts are in front of you, you can evaluate them. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me or hurting me? Is this idea moving me forward or keeping me stuck? Is this belief building my confidence or draining my strength? When you answer honestly, you'll begin to see patterns of doubt, avoidance, negativity, comparison, perfectionism, or procrastination. These patterns are not fixed traits. They're just habits of thought. And like any habit, they can be changed. But change doesn't happen passively. It's not enough to just see your weak patterns. You have to actively correct them. That's the real work. That's where transformation lives. And that starts with replacing weak thoughts with stronger ones. When you catch yourself saying, I can't, stop and reframe it. Ask, what if I tried? If your mind says this is too hard, respond with, good. That means it's worth doing. If your thoughts say, I always mess this up, challenge it with, no, I've learned from the past, and I'm doing it differently now. You don't need to lie to yourself. You just need to direct your mind toward thoughts that empower action, rather than justify failure. The key is consistency. One correction won't change your mental patterns overnight, just like one workout won't transform your body. But repetition will. Every time you catch a weak thought and replace it, you're building strength. You're forming a new groove in your mind. You're training yourself to think like someone who takes control, not someone who drifts. And over time, these stronger thought patterns become your default. They become the foundation from which you act, decide, and respond. That's how real identity change happens, from the inside out. And make no mistake, identity is everything. How you see yourself determines what you will tolerate, what you will pursue, what you will achieve. If you keep letting weak thoughts shape your identity, you'll never become who you're meant to be. But when you take responsibility for your mental patterns, when you begin to build a stronger mental foundation, you create a life that reflects that strength. It shows in how you carry yourself. It shows in how you speak. It shows in how you respond to challenges. People will notice, even if they can't name it. They'll see the shift in your energy. But more importantly, you will feel it. Self-respect grows when you take control of your inner world. You begin to trust yourself more. Why? Because you're not letting your mind run wild. You're not a passive passenger anymore. You're the driver. And every time you replace a weak pattern with a stronger one, you reinforce that trust. You prove to yourself that you're serious about becoming better. That internal proof matters more than anyone's praise. It becomes a deep source of confidence, not based on external validation, but on internal progress. There's a simple rule that will serve you for life. Don't accept every thought that enters your mind. Not every thought deserves your belief. Not every mental narrative is true. Some are just echoes of old pain, fear, or conditioning. Some were handed to you by others. Some are just default scripts you picked up from failure or rejection. But none of them are permanent. You can rewrite them. You can replace them. But only if you notice them. Only if you track them. And only if you commit to the daily discipline of mental correction. It's not easy. It takes effort. Your mind won't change just because you want it to. It changes because you make it. It changes because you confront the weak thoughts and refuse to let them guide your life. You won't always catch them in the moment. Sometimes you'll notice them after the fact. That's okay. What matters is that you're watching. What matters is that you're not numb anymore. You're aware. You're present. And that awareness is power. You'll start to realize that many of your limitations were never real. They were just beliefs you never challenged. You'll see that most of your stress came from exaggerated thinking, not actual danger. you'll recognize that much of your hesitation came from overthinking, not actual inability. When you correct these patterns, you free up mental energy, energy that can now be used for building, creating, and growing. This isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming conscious. It's about taking ownership of your inner world so that you can better shape your outer world. You'll still have doubts. You'll still have fears, but they won't control you anymore. You'll hear them, and then you'll move forward anyway. Because now you know they're just thoughts, not commands, not facts, just thoughts. And you have the final say. This mental discipline will affect every part of your life. Your work will improve, because your mind won't be sabotaging you with indecision or self-criticism. Your relationships will improve, because you won't be projecting old patterns or reacting from fear. Your health will improve, because your thoughts will support your goals instead of undermining them. Everything starts in the mind, and everything gets better when the mind gets stronger. So start now. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until you feel ready. Just begin. Track your thoughts daily. Write them down. Identify the weak patterns. Question them. Challenge them. And then choose better ones. Choose thoughts that align with your goals. Choose thoughts that push you forward. Choose thoughts that respect who you're trying to become. Do this consistently, and your life will change. Because your thinking changed first. No one else can do this for you. But once you begin, you won't want to stop. You'll taste the power of clarity. You'll feel the strength of mental control. You'll start to trust yourself in a way you never did before. And every part of your life will rise to match that new internal standard. That's the reward for the work. That's the outcome of tracking your thoughts and correcting the weak patterns. Freedom, focus, and strength from the inside out. Number 9. Force discipline into your life until it becomes normal. Discipline is not a trait that people are simply born with. It's not some magical quality that a select few have, while the rest of us are left trying to catch up. Discipline is something that can be developed, but it doesn't come naturally at first. It requires you to force it into your life until it becomes so normal that you no longer have to think about it. This is a process that takes time, energy, and consistent effort. But once you build the habit of discipline, it becomes an automatic part of your daily life, influencing everything you do, how you make decisions, and how you approach challenges. This isn't a quick fix, and it's not something that happens overnight, but it is something you can build with commitment. And once you have it, you'll wonder how you ever functioned without it. For many people, discipline is a concept they think about, but never fully integrate into their lives. It's something they want, something they know they should have, but something they never seem to actually implement. The key is that discipline must be forced into your life in the beginning stages. It must be something you make yourself do until it becomes a second nature. It's easy to let distractions and indulgences take over, to allow the comfort of not being disciplined to feel like the easier path. But that's the trap. It's not easier in the long term. It's easier in the short term. But in the long run, the lack of discipline leads to a life that's disorganized, inefficient, and ultimately unsatisfying. When you force discipline into your life, you don't wait until you feel like it. You don't wait until the perfect circumstances appear. You make the decision, and then you stick to it. Every day without fail. This is where most people fail, because they think they need motivation, or they think they need to feel ready. But if you wait for motivation, you'll wait forever. Discipline is the action you take even when you don't feel motivated. It's the decision you make when things get hard, when you don't want to get up, when you don't feel like doing the work. It's the ability to push through the discomfort, the resistance, and the urge to do anything else. When you force discipline into your life, you create habits that push you forward, even when your mind is trying to pull you back. Start small. Discipline is not about making huge changes overnight. It's about starting with small, manageable tasks and doing them consistently. Once you accomplish a small task, you build momentum. You start to see that discipline isn't as difficult as it once seemed. You begin to feel the reward that comes from completing something, from staying true to your word, from keeping your promises to yourself. It builds your confidence, and the confidence becomes the fuel for more discipline. Each task completed creates a sense of achievement, which in turn reinforces the importance of discipline in your life. The secret is to make it a non-negotiable part of your routine. At first, you'll have to consciously force yourself to stay disciplined. You might not feel like getting up early, working on that project, or staying focused, but you do it anyway. You force yourself, and you do it consistently. Day after day, you practice. Eventually, it will become a natural part of your life. You won't have to think about it. You won't have to push yourself as hard. Discipline will simply be the way you operate, the standard by which you live. People often think that discipline is about being rigid or punishing yourself for not living up to expectations. But discipline is not about punishment. It's about structure. It's about creating a system for yourself that leads to success. When you put discipline in place, you start creating a system for how you approach your day, your goals, and your life. You don't leave things to chance. You don't let your emotions dictate your actions. You show up even when you don't want to. You create routines that support the person you want to become, and you stick to them even when it feels uncomfortable. As you continue to force discipline into your life, something amazing happens. Your capacity to do hard things grows. The more you push yourself to be disciplined, the more your mental toughness grows. You begin to learn that discomfort is temporary, and that the benefits of discipline far outweigh the temporary relief of procrastination. You become stronger, both mentally and emotionally. And the more you strengthen your discipline, the easier it becomes to accomplish bigger, more challenging tasks. What seemed impossible yesterday becomes possible today, and what seemed hard yesterday becomes easier tomorrow. This is the compounding effect of discipline. The more you practice, the more you grow, and the more you're able to take on in your life. Eventually, discipline becomes part of your identity. It's no longer something you have to force yourself to do. It's simply who you are. You don't have to remind yourself to stay disciplined. It's in your bones. It's the way you think, the way you move, the way you act. It becomes as normal as breathing. But that doesn't mean it's always easy. There will be moments where you face setbacks, where you feel like you've lost your way, where you feel like giving up. But the difference is, when discipline is built into your life, you don't stay down for long. You don't let temporary setbacks stop you from moving forward. You bounce back faster, and you keep going. Another powerful aspect of discipline is that it gives you control over your life. When you choose to live a disciplined life, you're not at the mercy of your circumstances. You're not controlled by your impulses or the demands of others. You are the one who sets the tone. You decide what matters to you, and you commit to it, regardless of external factors. This sense of control is incredibly empowering. It allows you to make decisions based on your long-term vision, not your short-term feelings. It allows you to prioritize what truly matters, instead of being distracted by every little thing that comes your way. Discipline also improves your focus. When you're disciplined, you can block out distractions and concentrate on what's important. This ability to focus deeply on a task is what allows you to produce high-quality work and make real progress. It's also what separates those who succeed from those who don't. Discipline helps you develop laser focus, and that focus becomes a key to unlocking your full potential. The more you practice discipline, the better you get at narrowing your attention on what truly matters. You become a master at saying no to distractions and yes to the things that align with your goals. The most successful people are not the ones who are the most talented or the most gifted. They are the ones who are the most disciplined. They are the ones who understand the power of consistency. They are the ones who show up every single day and do the work. It's not always glamorous. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. The work you put in today will pay off tomorrow. And the more consistent you are with your discipline, the greater the rewards you will reap. This is why it's essential to force discipline into your life until it becomes normal. The moment you stop forcing it, you stop growing. The moment you let discipline slip, you risk falling into old patterns, old habits, and a life that doesn't align with your highest potential. But if you keep pushing, if you keep making discipline your default, you'll create a life that reflects your true potential. You'll unlock doors you never thought were possible. And the best part, discipline will become so normal that you won't have to think about it anymore. It will simply be a part of who you are. Number 10, design your daily routine to match your future goals. Your daily routine is the architecture of your future. Every small decision, every action, and every habit you integrate into your day is a building block toward the person you aim to become. It's easy to underestimate the power of a well-designed routine, But the truth is that what you do every single day, how you spend your hours, and how you prioritize your time will determine how close you get to your goals. Success is not a random event. It's the result of consistent, purposeful actions taken day after day, year after year. If you want to change your life, you must design a daily routine that reflects the future you want to create. Your goals are the vision that guides you, but your daily routine is the compass that ensures you stay on course. Without a plan to structure your day, it's easy to get distracted, to fall into old habits, or to allow your environment and emotions to dictate your actions. But when you consciously design your routine to align with your long-term goals, you become unstoppable. You no longer waste time or energy on things that don't contribute to your success. Every action becomes purposeful, every decision intentional, and every moment a step closer to who you are becoming. The first step in designing a routine that matches your future goals is to understand exactly what those goals are. It's not enough to have vague aspirations. You need clarity. What does success look like for you in the next 5 years? What kind of person do you want to become? Do you want to build a business, develop a skill, improve your health, or strengthen your relationships? Once you have a clear vision of where you want to go, you can begin to break it down into actionable steps that you can work on daily. Each goal you set must have a corresponding action that you can integrate into your routine. If your goal is to become fit, your daily routine should include time for exercise and healthy eating. If you want to develop a successful business, your routine should allocate hours for learning, networking, and working on your business. It's important to note that this is not about doing everything at once or trying to change every aspect of your life overnight. Start by identifying the few key actions that will bring you closer to your goal each day. Over time, you can expand and refine your routine, but the focus should always be on progress, not perfection. Next, you must be intentional about how you spend your time. Your routine should be designed to maximize productivity, minimize distractions, and ensure you're always moving closer to your goals. This means setting clear priorities for each day. When you wake up in the morning, ask yourself, what is the most important thing I can do today that will bring me closer to my goal? Make that your primary focus. Whether it's reading for 30 minutes to learn about your industry, writing for an hour to complete a book you're working on, or scheduling time to connect with clients or colleagues, you need to carve out time for what matters most. Don't let small tasks, social media, or unnecessary distractions take priority over your long-term objectives. A key element of designing your routine is creating habits that reinforce your goals. The best way to ensure that you're taking consistent action toward your dreams is by building habits that align with those goals. The human brain is wired to follow patterns. Once you establish a habit, it becomes automatic. But to build these habits, you need repetition and consistency. It takes time to train your mind and body to follow a new routine. But once you do, it becomes a seamless part of your day. Start small. If your goal is to read more books, commit to reading for just 10 minutes every day. If you want to become healthier, start by adding a 15-minute walk into your day. These small steps add up quickly, and before long, they will be an ingrained part of your routine, moving you ever closer to your goals. As you design your routine, think about your environment. Your environment plays a crucial role in how well you can execute your daily actions. Are there distractions around you that make it harder to focus on your goals? Is your workspace conducive to productivity? Are there people or activities that pull you away from your mission? Take an honest look at your surroundings and adjust them to support your goals. This might mean decluttering your home or workspace, turning off notifications on your phone, or creating a designated time and space for work, study, or self-improvement. Surround yourself with people who support your vision and remove influences that detract from your success. Your environment should be an extension of your goals, and it should actively push you toward your best self. Another important consideration when designing your routine is balance. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and grind, believing that the harder you work, the more successful you will become. But the truth is, a balanced routine is far more effective than one that is overly intense or all-consuming. While it's crucial to dedicate time to your goals, it's equally important to allow time for rest, relaxation, and personal reflection. Your body and mind need time to recover, recharge, and refuel. If you neglect this aspect of your routine, you will burn out and your progress will stagnate. A balanced routine includes time for work, but also for play, for rest, and for self-care. Consistency is key when designing your routine, but so is flexibility. Life doesn't always go according to plan, and there will be times when you encounter unexpected challenges or disruptions. The beauty of designing a routine is that it's adaptable. If you miss a day of work or exercise, it's not the end of the world. What matters is getting back on track as soon as possible. Rather than seeing setbacks as failures, view them as learning experiences that help you refine your routine. The more flexible you are, the easier it will be to stick to your routine in the long term. Life is dynamic, and your routine should be too. A well-designed routine also incorporates reflection and review. At the end of each day, take a moment to reflect on what you accomplished and where you could improve. Were you able to stay focused on your most important tasks? Did you make progress toward your goals? Did you prioritize your time effectively? Regularly evaluating your progress helps you stay aligned with your objectives and gives you the opportunity to adjust your routine as needed. If you find that certain habits or actions aren't working as well as you hoped, tweak your routine to improve it. The goal is not perfection, but constant improvement. Over time, as you continue to design your daily routine around your future goals, you will begin to see the compound effect of your efforts. Small actions taken consistently over time will produce significant results. What once seemed impossible will become possible. Your goals, once distant and vague, will start to feel within reach. Every day you show up and commit to your routine, you are building the future you want. The more intentional you are with your time, the more you'll begin to notice how your actions shape your reality. Ultimately, the most important aspect of designing your daily routine is commitment. You have to fully buy into the idea that your routine will be the foundation of your success. Once you make that commitment, it's no longer about motivation or inspiration. It's about consistency. No matter what happens, you show up. You follow through on your promises to yourself. You do the work day in and day out, no matter how challenging it may seem. In doing so, you build a life that reflects your deepest desires and ambitions. Your routine will no longer feel like something you have to force yourself to do. It will feel like the natural expression of who you are and who you are becoming.